hard. It was windy as well, so I'm gonna kind of walk you guys through that again. So I have the planer board mast right here. It is set up with about 75 yards of downrigger cable on each planer board, or on each side. We're going to attach it to the planer board here. There's just a wooden planer board with a bungee here to keep from too much shock going back and forth when we hit waves. But pretty easy, simple setup. Flip it on, toss it off that right side of the boat, and just let it go back as far out as I want it to go. I'll let it run, and then lock it in down here on the reel, and it'll be set out to that side. That's probably good. I'd say we're about probably 35-40 feet out. And I'll get back with you on getting a rod out as soon as I've got these set up here. Okay, so you saw me put the planer board out. I'm going to put this rod on this planer board on this right side of the boat here. So on this one, what I'm going to run is I'm going to run the pink and white Dodger with a pink spinner hoochie. It's a Kokobo spinner hoochie. And before I put it out there, let me get some corn out. So what I'll generally do is I'll run 2 flavors of corn, one on each side of the boat. So I'm going to run on this side, I'm going to run the shrimp krill. And on this left side of the boat, I'm going to run the nectar. Okay, so being that this is going on the planer board, I'm going to run this one back probably about 40 or 50 feet behind the boat. Turn this so you can see what I'm doing out here. So I'm going to run this back about 40 or 50 feet right there. And then I'm going to clip it in to this downrigger clip right here. Flip it in there, open up the shower curtain hook, put that on that planer board cable, snap it in, and then we're just going to run it out all the way out to that planer board out there. Guys, when this rod gets hit, you gotta, from the front, pick it up and it'll pop out. All right, so that's one is set. All right, so I've already showed you guys how I set my lines on my planer boards on the boat, but I thought today I would take a few minutes and actually go over my planer board setup with you, show you exactly how I set it up, because I built this one. There's plenty of them that you can buy. I decided I wanted to build mine, make it exactly how I wanted it, so that's what I did. So I'm going to take a few minutes now and show you exactly what I did and how I built it. We'll begin with the planer board mast right here in the center. So the mast is, let me see how long this is. It is just made of 1.25 inch steel conduit, because that fits exactly in the seat hole in the bow of my boat. And this is 68 inches long, so almost 6 feet long. So anyway, what I did, I'll pick this up so it's easier for you to see here. So I mounted a pair of the Penn M309 level wind reels onto the steel conduit down here, and they are spooled with regular downrigger cable. I figured the downrigger cable is better than using a braid, only because with the cable, my downrigger clips should slide down it really nicely. At the end of the cable, you can see I just have a terminal end for a downrigger cable. And then up here at the top of the mast, I've got 2 eye bolts secured into the top of the mast, and then small pulleys to make sure that that cable glides smoothly in and out when I'm letting those boards out or bringing them back in. And then, as you can see, I've got 2 planer boards here. I've got a right and a left. If you're going to build your own planer boards, they have to be right and left, so they pull evenly to the opposite sides. These are made just simply with 2x6, or excuse me, 1x6 pine. Just, you know, pretty cheap lumber, but it's painted yellow to keep it semi-waterproof. I'm going to set this here, and the length of each board is 24 inches, and you can see that they are cut at a bias, so they're cut at an angle to help that board pull out to the right side of the boat. In the center, I've got 3 bolts to hold these boards evenly spaced. Now, they can be adjusted. You can loosen these bolts up and adjust it. What I found when I first built these is they needed to be tweaked just a little bit to get them to pull out to the side correctly. I had to kind of open them up a little bit in the front and just a little narrower in the back to help them to pull out to the side, kind of to pull more forward along the sides of the boat. If you don't have them gapped correctly, like if they're narrower at the front and wider at the back, what they tend to do is they tend to not pull forward as much, and they sit a little bit too far behind the boat. It just makes it harder to control them and keep the lines out away from the other lines. Another thing you will notice is, first of all, also, they are offset from each other. You can see that there. That offset is also what helps to keep them pulling out to the side away from the boat. Another thing you'll notice is I have these snubbers on the sides of these for attachment. Now, what these are is these are here. I didn't have these at first. I just had the cable connected directly to this eye bolt on the outside of the planer board. Well, what I found is on days when there's some chop on the water, because it's cable on a steel conduit pole in the center of my boat, as the boat rocks side to side, of course that pole is rocking back and forth. Well, with cable, that cable is yanking and snapping back and forth, and what I found was happening is it was snapping hard enough that it was popping the clips. Not popping the clips, but popping the line out of the clips, and so I wasn't able to keep the lines held on the side planers very well if there was any chop on the water. So what I did is I attached these snubbers to the sides of the board, and what those do there, these are boat snubbers. I'll show a picture of them here. But what these boat snubbers do is they just absorb some of that shock of the waves when it's choppy, and it takes some of the recoil out of that cable, so when that cable snaps back and forth, it doesn't snap near as hard. And I find that the clips hold the line still, even though the board or even though the pole is bouncing back and forth, it's absorbed a little bit by that shock absorber, that snubber there, and I don't lose the line out of the clips. Okay, I know I showed these to you on the boat as well, but I'm going to show you again. So I've got a little bag here, and I have 20 of these little downrigger clips that I put together on a shower curtain hook. These are extremely simple. If you've ever used a downrigger, it works exactly the same way as a downrigger. You're going to send your line out, you clip your line into that little clip. I find that these ones I need to clip most of the way in, and then you simply open up the shower curtain hook, slip it onto the cable, and then run it out the cable as far as you want it to go. All the way out to the board if you want to, or somewhere in between. Close your bail, lock it in, and then you're fishing with that line attached in that little downrigger clip right there. And when that fish hits, most of the time it comes clear on its own. If it doesn't, it's just a little pop, just like a downrigger, and you pop it clear of those clips. And then you get to fight the fish without having to deal with inline board or anything else in your line. It's just you attached to the fish. Makes your landing rate much better than it would be otherwise. So if you have questions about those, please ask in the comments and we'll get back to the video we were watching.